Hi guys, welcome back to my channel once again. If you are new here, my name is Amanda, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to draft the pattern for this one shoulder Ankara top. If you are interested in it, kindly watch till the end. I'm going to be using this brown paper for the pattern, and it is folded into two. First thing I'm going to be doing is to come down by 1 inch from the upper part of the brown paper to get my shoulder line. After marking the points, I'll go ahead and connect it together to get a straight line like this. Next, I'm going to be marking from my shoulder to bust, which is 9, shoulder to under bust, which is 12.5, and my shoulder to waist, which is 16. I'll be repeating the same measurements on this line: shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to waist. After that, I'll connect the points together like this to get a straight line. After getting my straight lines, next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark the length of my top, and I'm using 24 inches. Okay, so from the shoulder you mark the length of your top. Mine is 24 inches. After marking, I'll connect the points together to get a straight line just like the other lines. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide my bust by 4, my waist by 4, and then my hip by 4, and mark it on the bust, waist, and then hip line. Next, I'll be connecting the points together to shape my outfit just like this. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to mark my shoulder, which is 14 divided by 2. I have 7 inches on the shoulder line and then on the bust line, and connect the points together to get a straight line like this. Next, I'll be coming in by 3 inches for my neck width and then 3 inches for my neck depth, and connect the points together using my curve. At the shoulder line, I'll be coming down by 1 inch to get my shoulder slant. After marking the shoulder slant, I'll be connecting it to the neck area just like this. Next, I'm going to be dividing my bust by 6 plus 1.5 inches to get my chest line. I had 7.5 after dividing my bust by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So from the shoulder drop, I'm going to mark my 7.5 inches, okay, from the shoulder slant. And then after marking, I'm going to be marking the same thing on the other side, that is the center front, and connect the points together to get my chest line. So after connecting the points together, I'm going to remeasure my bust measurements, okay? My bust by 4, whatever I got, I'll be marking the same thing on the chest line and reconnect the line from the chest line to the waist line. So just watch what I'm doing, you understand. So just like this. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to divide from my shoulder slant to my new chest line into 2 and then mark the center. After getting the center, I'll be coming in by 1/2 inch, okay, so that I can curve my armhole. So I'm going to be using my armhole curve, making sure it is touching the shoulder slant, the middle line, and then my chest line, and draw in my curve. After drawing in my curve, this is what I have. So I'm going to be tracing everything onto the brown paper under, so that I show you what to do next. So after tracing everything under, I went ahead to use my marker to draw in the lines, okay? So this is what I'm going to be using for my front bodies. So first thing I'm going to be doing is to draw in my dart. So at the center front, I'll be going in by 3.5 inches on the bust line, 3 inches on the under bust line, 3 inches on the waistline, and then 3 inches on my new hip line or the hem. After that, I'll go ahead and connect the point together using my straight ruler to the under bust line, okay? So after that, I went in by 2 inches from that line on the hip line, on the waistline, and then on the under bust line. I'm going to connect the points together to get a straight line as well. Next, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch from the bust line, okay, to get my bust point. So this is the 1 inch drop, and from that 1 inch drop, I'm going to be drawing my curve. So using my French curve, I'm going to place it on that new 1 inch drop and then connect it to the under bust line. Just pay attention to what I'm doing, or watch what I'm doing, and you understand. So I'll be drawing the same thing on the other side. Next, I'm going to be using my curve to connect from that point to the bust line, okay? So I'm just going to place my curve on top of it like this, making sure it is touching the center division at the armhole, and then it is touching my bust line as well, and then connect the points together using my French curve. So this is how you do it. After connecting, this is what I have. I'm going to be marking cut off 1 inch on both sides just like this, and I'll be using my curve to draw the lines to hit the bust line, okay? Just cut off 1 inch on both sides. So just place your curve on it and connect it this way. Repeat the same step on the other side and connect it to the bust line. So after connecting, you should be having something like this, and the lower line, okay, this particular line, I'm going to be extending it by 1/2 inch, okay, 1/2 inch on the side just like this, and I'll be connecting it to the armhole. So using your French curve, connect from that point to the armhole line. After connecting to the armhole line, I'm going to reshape the bust area, okay? It looks a bit straight, so just use your marker or pencil to draw in a little bit of a curvy line at that particular side to get something like this. So next thing I'm going to be doing is to trace everything on this side onto the other side of the brown paper, and then I'm going to be using my marker to draw in all the lines. Instead of repeating everything on the other side, I just decided to trace it out and then making sure everything is accurate, okay? So next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the shoulder. So my shoulder is very short when I compared it to the original design, okay? So with that being the case, I'll have to make my neck width 2.5 inches instead of the 3 inches I made earlier, okay? So I'll be coming in by 1/2 inch at the neck area on both sides, because looking at the original design, the hole in between the shoulder looks big, but if I'm comparing it to mine, it's going to be small. So if you have broad shoulders, this is going to really help you, or your design is going to look exactly the same like hers compared to those with shorter shoulders, okay? So from that point, I'll be going in by 1.75 inches from my new neckline, and then at the side I'll be coming in by 1 inch, okay? I'm trying my best to get a bigger hole at that side. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to come in from the shoulder line at the center by 7 inches, okay? This is how deep I want the hole to be. So after getting the center, I'm going to be using my curve to connect from the first line to meet that point, okay? You can use your pencil to draw it first and be sure of what you want before you use your marker. That is exactly what I am doing. So I'm going to be connecting the next line to meet at that same point to see if I'm satisfied with the shape before I use my marker to draw it properly. So this is what I have after drawing, and I'm going to shape it a little bit at the edge just like this before I use my marker to draw in the shape for it to be visible so you can see clearly. So this is the shape I have now. Okay, so I'm adding my seam allowances at the center so that when I'm cutting I don't forget. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to connect from the shoulder to meet at the armhole just like this, and I'm satisfied with the line, so I'll use my marker to redraw it. After that, I'm going to divide that line into two to get my center. I don't want the line to be straight, so I'm finding the center so that I can create a little bit of a curve at that point, and I went in by 1/2 inch. Okay, so after getting the 1/2 inch, I'll go ahead and connect from that point, making sure it is touching the 1/2 inch and then to the armhole area. If I'm satisfied, then I use my marker to redraw the line. Okay, so since from the neck area to the first hole, the first line of the hole is 0.75 for mine, I'm going to be using 0.75 from that point through to the armhole. Okay, so depending on your shoulder, you can make it bigger or smaller. Okay, it depends on how broad your shoulder is. So I'm marking 1.75 all through to the armhole area at that side, and I'll be connecting the points together just like this. Okay, so after the armhole, there's going to be an extension at that side which will fall on the arm, but I'll be adding that later. Okay, next I'm going to fold it into two again like this, and I'm going to be working on the lower part. So at the side, I'll be going in by 3 inches. I initially marked 2, but I realized it won't be as curvy as I want, so I made it 3 inches at the side. So after marking my 3 inches, I'm going to be marking my hip measurement on that line. Okay, this is because if you don't add it, it's going to be tight at that area. Next, I'm adding my dart allowance on the waistline and then on the hip line or the new hemline. Okay, after that, I'll be connecting from the bust or the chest line to meet the waist and then the new hip line just like this. After that, I'll be connecting from that point to meet the dart leg on this side. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to come down by about 3.5 inches. Okay, so 3.5 inches, and I'm going to connect from that point also to meet the dart leg at that side. So just watch what I'm doing. Next, I'll be tracing everything onto the other side of the brown paper as well, and I'll be drawing it out using my marker. Okay, like I said, it's always advisable to trace so you know you are marking or drawing in the exact thing on the other side. Next, I'll be tracing the sides as well and draw it or mark the lines on the other side as well. So this is it for the front. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out because I'm done with the front. Okay, so I'm going to cut everything out and show you what to do. But before I cut out everything, I'm going to trace the facing at the new neckline. Okay, so just watch how I'm cutting it out so that you don't make mistakes when you are cutting it. So I'm taking this part off before I trace the facing and then cut out the rest. So just put another brown paper under, pin it down, and then trace the lower part, draw in the side, and then go ahead and cut out. Okay, So after tracing out, I marked or drew in the line at the shoulder and then the armhole area, and then at the upper part, just like you see me doing. After that, I'll go ahead, take it out, and then cut it out. Okay, so I'm seeing the trace line, and then I'm cutting that out, and then every other part that's not needed. So after cutting out, you should be getting something like this. Okay, so that is my shoulder. I labeled it so that I don't get confused when I'm cutting out. After that, I'll go ahead and cut out every other part from it to show you what I'll be needing for the work itself. So don't forget to like, comment, and share my videos. I'll be posting the sewing videos very soon. Okay, so after everything, this is what I have for the front. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the back pattern. So whatever we made for the front pattern, you are making the same thing for the back. Okay, no changes. The exact thing we did for the front, you do the same thing for the back. And this is what I have for my back. What I'm going to be doing is to fold it into two, and then I'm going to be putting in my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 3.5 inches on the bust line, on the waistline, and then on my hip line. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing after this is to draw in a straight line to get this particular line. Next, I'll be putting 1/2 inch on both sides. Okay, the dart for the back is 1 inch. Next, you remember I reduced 3 inches, or I came up by 3 inches for the front, and I remarked my hip measurement. I'm doing the same thing right here for the back. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to reduce the length of the back by 1 inch, and then after that I'll be connecting to the new hip line at the side. Okay, so just like this. And then after connecting, remember the dart intake. Okay, I placed 1/2 inch on both sides, which makes it 1 inch. So I'm going to be placing that 1 inch on the side, and then connect it to the chest line and then the hip line, just like this. Okay, next I'll be drawing in my dart for the back. It is the normal dart we use. Okay, so just draw it in like this. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to place my ruler on top of it and just rule a line to any angle at the armhole. Just make sure it is a straight line. Okay, after drawing it and I measured, I had about 2 inches from the shoulder slope down. Okay, next thing I'm going to be doing is to trace everything on the front or on the side onto the back. Okay, and then I'm going to trace it or draw it back in using my marker so that you see exactly what I'm doing. So remember, we traced out for the front to get the right measurements. This is the exact thing I'm doing over here. Okay, this saves time and energy when drafting. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to work on the neck area. Okay, remember I went in by 1/2 inch for the front part. I'm doing the same thing for the back. Okay, the neck have to be the same, and after that I'm using my curve to redraw in my neckline. So do just like this. Okay, next thing I'm going to be doing is to draw in my curve from the neck to the armhole area. Okay, that is what I am going to be doing now. So we are going to be connecting from this side to the armhole area. Remember, the front was on the other side. Okay, take note of that. After that, I divided the line into two, and I'll go ahead and draw in the curve just like we did for the front, but with this, after the division, I went in by half and quarter. After that, I'm marking the 1.75 inches for the facing, same thing we used for the front, okay, just like this. Next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut out and trace out my facing and show you what to do next, okay. So after cutting out, I'm going to cut this upper part out as well and trace out my facing just like I did for the front. Place a brown paper under, pin it down, trace out, draw in the lines, and then cut out. So it's basically the same thing we did for the front. Next, I'm going to be drawing in the lines, and I labeled that part shoulder so that I don't forget when I'm working, okay. After cutting out, this is what you are supposed to get, okay. Next, this line I'm going to be making it straight. I don't want it to be curved or slanted at that side, okay. So I'm canceling out this one. I'll go ahead and then cut out to show you the final pieces I'll be using for my top. The center is going to be cut because I'm going to be adding or putting a zipper at that area. So this is basically the full tutorial for both front and back. Kindly subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I post the sewing videos. Bye.